Imagine watching the sky burn as a catastrophic solar storm fries the global power grid, plunging humanity back into the dark ages. You survive the initial panic, secure a defensible perimeter, and think you've beaten the odds. But in a world where the grid is dead and the food supply is gone, the real nightmare is just beginning. Welcome to Black Swan 3, the third gripping installment in Bobby Akart's relentlessly tense Black Swan Event series. If the first two books were about the chaotic scramble to survive the initial natural disaster, Book 3 shifts the paradigm into the brutal, unforgiving marathon of long-term collapse. This audiobook is a masterclass in post-apocalyptic tension, blending hyper-realistic survival tactics, psychological suspense, and the terrifying reality of a world where humanity's darkest impulses have fully taken over. The narrative picks up in the harsh, unforgiving aftermath of the Black Swan solar event. The initial shock has faded, replaced by the crushing, suffocating reality of a world without electricity, running water, or law. The core group of survivors has established a fragile sanctuary, but their success has made them a beacon in a sea of desperation. When a new, highly organized and utterly ruthless faction of survivors, armed with scavenged military hardware and led by a charismatic, ruthless warlord, sets its sights on their homestead, the protagonists realize that their greatest threat isn't the elements or the starvation, it's other people. Akart excels at capturing the claustrophobic dread of being hunted, making every snapping twig and every shadow in the tree line feel like a lethal threat. What truly elevates Black Swan 3 above standard survival fiction is Bobby Akart's signature commitment to tactical and logistical realism. This isn't a story where the heroes have infinite ammo and magical plot armor. Every single bullet counts. Every medical supply is a matter of life and death. The combat sequences are grounded, visceral, and terrifyingly authentic. Akart writes tactical gunfights, ambushes, and perimeter defenses with a breathtaking technical precision. You aren't just reading about a shootout, you are experiencing the deafening roar of unsuppressed firearms, the panic of a jammed rifle, and the desperate close-quarters brutality of fighting when the magazines run dry. The audiobook narration brings this gritty realism to life, making the crunch of boots on gravel and the sharp intake of breath before a trigger pull feel incredibly real. But beyond the tactical brilliance and the survival mechanics, the soul of the book lies in the psychological toll of the collapse. The found family dynamic of the core group is tested to its absolute limits. They are forced to make impossible, morally gray choices to protect the people they rely on. The emotional anchor of the story is their fierce, unbreakable loyalty to one another. They aren't just fighting for calories or ammunition anymore. They are fighting for their right to remain human in a world that is actively trying to turn them into monsters. The audiobook format perfectly captures the weary, hardened voices of people who have seen too much, bearing the crushing weight of leadership while trying to keep their own souls intact. As the plot accelerates towards its climax, the pacing becomes utterly breathless. The hostile faction launches a coordinated, devastating siege on the survivors' sanctuary, forcing them into a desperate, multi-stage battle for their lives. The finale is a spectacular, hard-fought convergence of tactical ingenuity, raw courage, and sheer, unyielding defiance. It delivers a massive dopamine-fueled payoff that earns every bit of its triumph, proving that while the grid may be dead, the human spirit refuses to be broken. Black Swan 3 is a triumph of the post-apocalyptic thriller genre. It is smart, gritty, and unapologetically intense. Bobby Akart has crafted a milestone book that proves the Black Swan Event series is a must-listen for any fan of survival fiction. Plug in your headphones, check your perimeter, and join the survivors. The world has ended, but their fight for tomorrow is far from over.